Hello everybody, welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host. And today we're going to talk about no contact, no problem, because you are reality itself. So, a little bit of context here. Is it possible to manifest a specific person with whom you have no contact? That was one of the questions a subscriber put forward in the comment section, and I'm just going to answer it fully here. Reflections and conditions, right? I met a person and there was a mutual attraction from the subscriber's point of view. However, they are married, so I didn't respond appropriately while they were showing me affection. So the person was showing them affection and they didn't really respond in the way that they preferred. No contact, neither phone, nor any other way to reach them. Is it possible to manifest in this situation? How would that be possible? Well, let's look at this question for a bit. They met someone and there was a mutual attraction. But where's that attraction coming from? It's coming from you being source. Everything in your reality has to reflect that you are source. So that attraction was actually coming from you experiencing spillover and a version of yourself who is in a relationship with this person and is experiencing a version of that. Now what happened? They were married, you didn't respond appropriately. Here's the thing. You can look at it from two different ways here. One, your 3D mind and thoughts created this experience while you were experiencing it. Or from a totality, as source, you created that entire experience. That 3D version of you had no choice but to respond like that. The 3D version of you had no choice but to respond however that version and identity responded. That's all. That version of you no longer even exists. It's gone. You're just recreating it now in the moment by remembering it. So, is it possible to manifest in the situation? How would that be possible? Well, this is how we typically look at the 3D experience, right? We are sitting at a computer. Just for context, they were at a computer course. So that's where they met. You're sitting in the computer course. You're talking to each other, exchanging emails, exchanging messages, however that went about. And then you're kind of just having the 3D experience. So your mind is saying one thing, your heart is saying one thing. Your desire says one thing, your ego says one thing. But these things don't exist. You are reality. You're just experiencing different variations and thoughts of reality itself. So in one reality, your thoughts about this is wrong, this is right, come into play. Another reality where I'm going with my heart first, everything else is irrelevant. That's still this 3D thinking. What is actually going on? It is you as reality focusing on this version of reality, and it's always shifting where this confusion where mind meets heart is being experienced. And that's how we typically see the 3D, right? We see ourselves in the moment believing the 3D experience to be outside of us, and we are trying to figure it out as we go along. What we are experiencing is the objective reality, and manifesting in this way feels as if you're trying to create something out of nothing. That's how we see the 3D, right? This is an objective, fundamental, hard fact of reality, what I'm experiencing right now. Trying to steer reality or materialize something out of thin air. And then, we have these circumstances and these conditions, and things are seemingly happening. They married. You didn't respond appropriately. Thoughts and emotions feel like mostly, if not always, an automatic unfolding. Why? Because it actually is just an automatic unfolding. It's already a dead thought and experience upon experiencing it. Because that idea is, while solid, the experiencing of reality is not. You have thoughts about yes and no, and yes for the desire, and no because the circumstances are saying one thing above and beyond another, right? They don't matter. So what is actually happening is that this entire sequence was brought to you by yourself, No one else. There's no other reality. There's no other source. There's no other God. It's just you. This entire sequence of events was something you brought to yourself as source. It is a way that you, as your higher self, brought you to yourself. Brought this as yourself to yourself as a 3D physical experience to point yourself back to the source of the experience entirely. You, the self, as the source of it. There's no other source of reality. It's just you. So, we believe that now in this present moment, that this present moment of reality, perceiving yourself as the 3D body, you believe in that past where things went not as preferred. And you want to manifest a future believing that past to be real. The person in that future, that identity, is not the version of you that even had that past, the one where you are in that loving relationship. The version of that past is also not who you ever were, because that past is no longer there. And the more you identify with it, the more you continuously recreate that past that you don't prefer, because it's who you are choosing to be right now, either consciously or unconsciously. But you are never that person who even had that past. It doesn't even exist. You are reality itself. So, you shift to a timeline that continuously is recreated by your focusing on that past over and over again. It's not the same past. You are not even experiencing the same identity who had what you think is that past. You are creating another version entirely of that past and that future in another timeline that represents having that past, where you and that person never met, never maintained contact, and are never together. So you go about it experiencing it over and over and over again. Now, what do? See yourself as source of every single thing. Every time you remember that reality, every time you think you are remembering it and remembering a singular version of it, understand you are doing it again and again and again. In every single moment of this now experience, you are experiencing another version of yourself again and again and again, recreating it over and over again. See yourself as this knowing and awareness where it all just happens inside of you. Now the 3D experience is actually only 0.0001%. It's actually less than that. It's infinitely less than that. Out of the total 100% of reality that just exists. Your awareness as knowing in the imagination has 99.99999 onwards % of all that is possible happening right now within itself. Every idea of a past, present, and future. The idea of a past, because the frame is just created as if it happened in the past. But we're creating that idea from right here and right now. You can imagine like a filter that, oh, I'm remembering this as a past now. I'm filtering it as story past, and I'm filtering it as story future. Like that image I have where it's just it's the same image mostly, but you're seeing one as past and seeing one as future, but it's just filters that you are giving to it. You are reality. You are reality. You are infinity, right? And there are infinite frames that create the illusion of a life path and timeline that are going on simultaneously right now. Each point, this is important, connected to every other point. So it's not that you are here now and some other life and it's no longer available to you because of something. You are here now with an infinite number of different pasts that lead up to this point, and an infinite number of futures that can be connected to this, that are connected to this point, because it's all happening right now. The totality of these frames is God, the infinite knowing of all of them, the infinite creator of all of them. It is literally everything in the frame and every frame that it exists. That is who you are. And as you can see in this, even this screen, right? I might be a physical construct. This is non-physical. This is animated construct, that I might be a living thing, this might be a non-living thing is what I meant. But on the screen, all of it's made up of the same energy. The screen's energy that it's producing to show you the image is made up of the same thing. We just, in the 3D reality, we can't really tell that sometimes because this is soft, this is squishy, this is hard. But when you break it down, it is all this energy. And when you break down that energy even further, it's coming from a knowing. And that knowing is God, creating all of it. So, everyone is you pushed out. Each physical viewpoint, each one of us, is that same I am awareness experiencing itself consciously as a physical viewpoint. Everything is I am awareness, but it's not necessarily experiencing itself consciously. This pen isn't conscious. Even if there are infinite versions of this pen, there are infinite versions of me, there are infinite versions of you, and we can consciously choose those versions to experience. While the pen is experiencing itself in every reality, you are experiencing yourself shifting into and as every reality. So it created you as a physical experience and everything and everyone else in your physical and non-physical experiencing of reality, all happening within its own awareness. I say non-physical because if you are aware of people like Abraham Hicks and Seth and Bashar, those are non-physical vibrational beings. If you ever wondered about whether that's true or not, everything you're imagining is a non-physical experience, but your experience is just the same, right? So everyone is you pushed out. Everything is you pushed out. Everyone is you pushed out. Everything and everyone is you pushed out. Not your physical self, but the awareness that is pushing it all out as an assumption. Now, as awareness, you are not affected by any actual event or circumstance or limited by it in any way, shape, or form. Completely blank and new in every single moment. Remember yourself as that I am awareness that is just everything. Not the 3D form within the frame it created. Awaken in the frame, so to speak. That's what you are doing in every moment, realizing who you are. Now, time is not linear. So the perception of the past and the future is actually created in this exact moment according to who and what you are. Your experiencing is created in according to who and what you are, right? Time is not linear, it's created all now. So those timelines of identity all exist already. NevilleGoddard's creation is done as a reference to that idea, right? So imagining and assuming shifts you to the timeline either as a vision or going to your end. Either way, it's the same experience to awareness because you are just being an identity that you prefer and would have preferred to experience reality in that way because the identity that didn't act in the way they preferred can't be the version that you now prefer and choose yourself to be, so you have to actually automatically revise it and experience it again, right? You only shift your focus, nothing else. The 3D does nothing. The 3D is a manifestation, and manifestations don't manifest. Which is what I said in the previous video, but I'm liking this terminology, manifestations don't manifest. It's quite a fun one to say. So you shift in awareness and the 3D world immediately reflects this assumption regardless of appearances. Judge not by appearances, because you can't. So when you are imagining and accept your choice of reality and assume the wish is fulfilled, the feeling of it is done. It's unfolding. The how is taken care of already by your higher self. You can't even figure that out even if you wanted to. The desire is the indication it exists, then it exists as yours. That awareness of and as your end is the evidence it's already yours and unfolding. Move in that knowing. So your current experiencing of living as the version where it has everything has already imagined that past experience and experienced it in the way that they preferred, unfolding into and as a future experience, all existing now for your experiencing of it. That future and that past are unfolding from within you simultaneously, right now. So you're not necessarily going forward. You went within, and what's within is being reflected out in every moment. Just like how a mirror isn't moving, but if I did this to the mirror, the pen moves in it. Just like that, giving you the illusion of movement. You literally shift all of reality into that timeline, and the 3D reflects it as yours without effort, persisting in your now preference of reality experience. It's not who or how. It is who, it's not how, or free will. That's what I meant. So it's not how, because how doesn't matter. How is impossible to figure out, so it doesn't matter. It's not about anyone else's free will, because you are never infringing on anyone else's free will. They are always continuously shifting into parallel realities that you can't even see because they already exist there. But if every choice if every choice has already been made, then a version of them that made the choice to be with you and a version of you who made the choice to be with them already exists. So it's who, not how or free will. The version of your SP, specific person, already existed because everyone has infinite versions of themselves. What you are doing is shifting your point of view where your will matches their will, and their will and your will is actually God's will to be and as that experiencing of reality. That version of them, willed by God, experienced by them, the version of you, willed by God and experiencing of them, already exists. You are just experiencing your viewpoint of that reality. Another version of source, which is you, which you are not necessarily conscious of being, you're conscious of being you, is them experiencing being with you. It's all one reality, but it's coming from your viewpoint to experience it. It's already existing whether or not you experience it. Just like how movies are being watched whether you are watching it or not. In the same sense, it's like that. Your physical self and their physical self already exist together. You experience it as awareness immediately. Your knowing is the creation of it immediately. Where we get hung up is where it is in the physical. It's nowhere in the physical. It's unfolding from within you as the physical reality now, because it already exists that way. So any thought or experience, physically or non-physically, now does not matter, because it's just not your choice, regardless of how it can and may appear to be. Your being it as reality is the only reality. Your being it as reality is creating the experience of the physical you and them in a relationship already. You literally being it is creating the experiencing of it. I mean, like very, very obviously, you being it is creating the experiencing of that relationship. Your beingness literally creates the beingness of that relationship. Whatever substance your imagination is creating from you, that you as that substance. So whatever substance as you, your imagination is creating from, it's creating from you. It is literally creating the experience of that relationship. Or anything. Anything, not just limited to that, right? So it's not about how or free will from that other person. In your imagination, it is that person who is expressing their free will to be with you. You are expressing your free will as source to experience that reality where their free will and your free will match. It already exists that way. And you as awareness shift into and be it, so it must be your physical experience as a choice. Now, just putting a little bit more succinctly there, the how doesn't matter. You met them as a how. You met them as one version of how. You met a version of them as one version of how. There are infinite versions and infinite versions of them and infinite hows. There's only one who. That is I am. So be the who instead. So, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the question, firstly. It was lovely. And I think it pointed to a whole new experience of unfolding and unpacking reality creation, which I had quite a lot of fun making. So thank you for the question. Thank you for the subscribing. Thank you for the following. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for the liking. Thank you for this general being here. love and light to each and every one of you that are coming in and have always been here. Remember, we have always been on this unfolding forever and ever and ever, and I'm grateful to experience it. Thank you. Thank you for joining the TikTok page, and thank you for joining the Facebook page as well. Much love, and thank you for the support always. So, love and light, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.